Hello everyone, welcome to Made Easy Tech channel. My name is Pascal Oweka and today I'll be guiding us on basic arithmetic in Excel. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and follow us for more tech information. We'll be seeing some basic functions like the sum, average, minimum, maximum, count, etc. Let's assume we want to look at sales management. Let's assume we want to look at sales management. Okay, let's say we have products. We have products. Let me say under products we have shoes, we have shirts, we have glove. Let's say we have gloves. Then let's say we have hats. All right. So assuming we have these products in our what? In our tables. Then under products we have shoe, shirt, glove, hat. Then here we have our price. Under price, let's say we have 100. Here we have 120. Here we have 50. And here we have 60. So let's assume the first quarter we sold 70, 650, 60. Then here at we sold 65. All right. Then let's say second quarter we sold 65, we sold 70, we sold 30, we sold 80. Then all right, let's just first, second, then let's say third quarter we sold 70, 65, 40, 35. Then here the last quarter, and so we sold 80, 75, 80, and we sold what? 60. All right. So assuming these are our sales for the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter, let's do some formatting and some basic arithmetic. All right. Now, looking at this price section, you see that it's just 100, 120, 50, and 60. It's supposed to be on currency. So we can just select and change it from here to what? Currency symbol, $sign. You can see that. Then from here, you can either reduce or increase, reduce, or you what? Increase the decimal places. All right. So you can also come here, select where you have is custom. You can from here change it to currency, numbers, accounting, date, long date, time, percentage, whatever you feel like manipulating or doing with your data, you can do it from there. All right. You can come if you needed a comma, you can come here, percent. These are shortcuts. Why this is what the drop down. All right. So now let's see how we can do some basic arithmetic with our data. So but before we continue, let's see this. Look at this sales management. You can see that the typing from this cell to this cell, under B there's one cell here, and under A there's another cell. So our write up enters from A to B, cross the line. So if it's like this and if you should observe very well, once you click on B, under your formula bar, nothing is what's going to be outputted. When you click on the cell under A, you'll be seeing your what sales management. So if you want to make it seems as if it's under its own cell, like a complete cell under A, all you have to do is to come here in between A and B. You just double click. You can see now sales management, or let me undo, Ctrl Z. You can click and drag to any length you want, any length. All right, you can click and drag. All right, so let me undo. Then, but if you want to merge both cells together on this particular position, you can do that. You just need to what select the A and B together. Once you select the A and B together, you come to what your merge center. Either you click on merge and center, or you come and click on merge cell. So now let me zoom it a little. Let me zoom. So now you can see they are now what together. So let's continue. Let's do some basic arithmetics. All right. So let's say here is our what quantity. Don't forget our quantity is just like our items sold. And here you can see shoes. The items sold was 70 in the first quarter, then 65 second quarter, 70 third quarter, and 80 fourth quarter. So let's say here should be our what total, let's say quantity. All right. Okay, now you can see the spellings have entered the next what cell. I can click here and what drag. If I should click here and drag it, I can expand the cell. What if there were other cells that were too small to contain the either character or numbers? Like here, this is quantity. These are numbers. You'll be seeing some hash signs here, meaning the cell is too small to contain the numbers. Then look at this one. Quantity is now showing QT, which means even the quantity, the spelling character is too small to contain it. What if it's like that and you want to expand it at the same time? Your work is just to shrink and you want to expand it at the same time. You don't want to be clicking and dragging. What you need to do is to come to this space, come to this place and click to select all. So once you click here to select all, the next thing you will do, you click in between the cells like B or C. You click in between the lines in the cells. Once you double click in between the lines in the cell, you will expand it at the same time. If I should double click here now, or I double click here, it will expand the entire cells at the same time, so that the entire cells will look good. Now, if I should double click here, don't forget this place you are seeing my cursor. If I move it a little bit to this A, it will change sign to like a arrow pointing down. In that aspect, you don't have to double click. You have to bring it to the line in between A and B, or the line in between B and C. Then you have to double click it. Let me double click. You see, I've worked on the entire cells and it now look good. All right. So these are our total quantity. Now let's calculate our total quantity. For the shoes, we are going to plus 70 plus 65 plus 70 plus 80 to get our total quantity for the 4 quarters. All right. And let's see how we can use our calculation to do this. So under our quantity, we're going to explain how we can use our calculations, how we can use our formula and functions. All right. These are 3 different types. Let's see here calculations. then let's say here formula, then here let's say we see how we can use our what functions. All right, so calculations, formula, and functions. Let's see how we can use them. These are three things. They are doing the same thing but in a different words, in a different ways. So let's start with calculation. Now calculation is any mass in Excel. These are what? These are mass in Excel. Any mass carried out in Excel, they are calculation. And they always start with what? An equal sign. Equal to. Alright. Now if you come here and say equal to, you already start your what? Calculation. Then equal to, let me say 70 plus 65 plus 70 plus 80. Now, if I should press my enter button, these are what the total calculation of the first, second, third quarter of the shoes. Now, this pattern is what is too slow. Let me see. Too slow. It's too slow, and also is not dynamic. Let me say not what? Dynamic. All right. So now when I say not dynamic is that looking at our total quantity, if I should come here and change this figure to 80, this total quantity will not change. All right. If I should change 70 to 80, here will not change. It remains constant. That's why I said what is not dynamic. Now let's delete this and let's see how we can use our what formula. Now also I have to start with equal sign, equal to, then here I will just come here and click 70, then I will have my what plus sign. I'll click on 65. I'll have my what plus sign. I'll click on 70. I'll have my what plus sign. I'll click on 80. Now, if I should enter this, it will give me what same quantity, but also this is what too slow. All right, this is too slow. But this is what dynamic. All right. So when I say this is dynamic, is that if I should have an update here also will what be updated. So if I should say 70 should not be what 80, and enter it, you see that the quantity here has changed. So it's dynamic. Let me go back, Ctrl Z. So now, though it's dynamic, but is what is too slow. When you want to multiply, subtract, divide, and all that, the formula is cool. All right. So let's talk about function. What is function? Functions are pre-formulas built in Excel by Microsoft for us to use. All right. So if you want to use our function, don't forget to start with what equal to. Then we can just pick a function. We can just say sum. So immediately we say sum, we can see sum function, sum if, all the sum functions will be what? Will be dropped down, all right, for us to pick. Also, if you don't want to type it here, we can just come to our formula bar. Then under our formula bar, we can see different functions. We can come here where we have math and trick. Click down, you can see different functions. All right, you can see different functions. Look at our sum here. We can click here and pick sum. So there are different ways we can what? We can do this. There are different ways we can do what? We can do this. So let's say sum, SUM. Then, so after that, we have to open our what? Our parentheses. Then we come here and click and drag. Once we click and drag, you close your what? Parentheses. Then we press our enter button. You can see. So let's do that here now. So all we have to do is to say equal to sum. Open your what? Brackets. Click and drag. Close your brackets and what? Enter. Now this one is fast. Okay. This is fast. And talking about dynamic, it is what? Dynamic. Okay. So if I should come and change any figure here, this total quantity will be what? Will be changed. Let me say 20. You can see it changes. All right. So let's go back. Now this is fast and it's also what? Dynamic. Then you can click also and drag to fill what? The other ones. All right. We can click and drag to autofill the other quantities. Here, let us forget that here, our sales management, we merge this line, this A and B cell, we merge it together, just the first row. I told us that if we merge the A and B together, the entire cell, if we merge it together, the power of the B will be shifted towards A. But now we just merge only the first row. All right, so let me just unmerge this. Let me unmerge. You can just come here and say you want to unmerge. Then let's click here and drag to give a space gap. Okay. Now, before we continue, let's check this out together. If I should come here in one of the total quantity and click on it, you can see here there's an error sign here looking like a triangle. Let me zoom it so that I can see it better. All right, let me zoom it. Now there's an error sign here that looks like a triangle. I know when most of us will see this, we say that, Pascal, how do we go about this? I'm seeing an error. Relax. It's easy. The error sign does not necessarily mean that there's an error or your work is not correct. It indicates that there may be an error. Cross-check. All right, because why? If you should point to this error sign, you will see it say that the formula in the cell refers to a range that has additional number adjacent to it. Now, if you look at this range, you will see a number here, which is price. But we don't need this number. We only need the quantity on quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. These are the quantity we need. We don't need price. So it's telling us, are you sure this number price is not included? Now, what you will do here, seeing this error sign, is that you just come here, point to it, and you see a arrow pointing down here at the right corner. Just click on it, and you see the drop-down options. Now you see the first say formula omit adjacent cell, update formula to include cell, help on this error, ignore error, and so on. All right, so our best option here is to ignore error because we are actually right about this. if I should click update formula, it's going to include this price, which is 100. All right, let's try this. Update formula. You can see it has included what? The price to it, and now what? 385. So don't need to update formula because we are actually right. So Control Z, we have to ignore this error. All right, let's ignore the error. You just have to ignore what? The error. All right, all you have to do is to ignore what? The error. So don't use your update formula. So that's what has been one good thing about Excel. It gives us directions. Now I can also correct that in a different way. Let me say Control Z. Okay, you can see me. Okay, let me click on this. Now check it out. Now you can also come here, bring out the drop then, and come to where you have error checking what? Options. Click on it. Then you come down to where you have what? Your formula which omits cells in a region. Click on it. Once you click on it and click OK, you have what? Omit those what? Errors. You've omit the error signs, telling Excel that don't worry, I know what I'm doing. All right. So let's continue. So let's zoom in and let's delete this. You have to select and use our words, our delete key. All right. So let's look at our words, our total sales. Oh, our total sales. Now let's see our total sales. Here we are not going to use our function. We are going to use our formula, because if we use our function, it's going to give us something else. Now we want to multiply, so we are going to use our formula, because we're going to multiply our price times our total quantity. So we're going to say equals to our price. Click on the price, then you put your asterisk times, then you click on what? Total quantity. You press your enter key. So you can see 28,500 is our total sales. So instead of repeating same thing here, all we have to do is to use our autofill as usual. Click on it, then come down here on the corner of it, the right side. When it's changed to this plus symbol, this tiny plus symbol, you just click and drag. All right, autofill. So we have the words total sales. Now, looking at your total sales, you will discover that there's no decimal. It's well arranged to my own taste. But if you want a decimal place, just select it, select this, and click here where you have your comma and sign. All right, just click on it. You will see what? The decimal. You can either increase or you reduce it. All right, but I don't need it. So now we see some calculations on how we can use our formula, how we can use our calculation, how we can use our what? Functions. So now let's go straight to some basic functions. Let's see some basic functions and see how we can analyze our data. Let's see some quick analysis on how we can find our minimum, maximum, average, and so on. So now let's see how we can check for our total items sold, average items sold, maximum items sold, and minimum items sold. Don't forget, the items are these: shoes, shirts, gloves, and what? Hats. And then these are the number of times they were sold for quarter 1, quarter 2, 3, 4. Now, you might want to extend the total items sold and other items here, so like the average, minimum, and maximum, not to just be on what? Column A, but to exit column B and up to column C. So all we have to do here to make it well arranged, you just select from column A to column C and come to your home tab. On your home tab, it comes to your what? Merge and center. Click on it. All right. You do the same. You click on it. Do the same for this. You click on it. And you also do the same for this. You click on it. Now it's well arranged. All right. Now I want to calculate my what? Total items sold. And I want to maintain each what? Columns. And if you should observe, you will discover that here I have already exceed my B column to my what? C column. And I will need in my C column 12 for my what? Calculation. I will need my column C, row 12 for my what? Calculation. So I have to come back here again and what? Select all these, come to your merge and center, click on unmerge. Then I have to select just my A and B. Then I can click on what? Merge and center. Come here, click on what? Merge and center. Come here and do it for this, and also do it for what? For this. So now let's have our what? Total items sold. Now looking at our total items sold, we're going to use the same function we used here to get our what? Total quantity. But now we are not going to use it across this row. Now it's going to be on just column C, which is I want to know for the shoes, the shirts, the glove, and the axe for quarter one. What is the total items sold? So we are going to say is equals to sum, our parentheses. Then we are going to click on C4 to what? C7. All right. Then you press your enter key. Also, we are going to do the same thing here by clicking and drag to auto select for the rest what? Rows. All right. So these are our what? Total items sold for shoe, shirts, glove, and axe for quarter one, for quarter two, for quarter three, and for quarter four. So now the total quantity you have here, the entire total quantity you have here, and the ones you have here, total items sold, is going to be what? The same. And how do you verify that? If you should click here and drag, then look at this corner where you have your what? Sum. You see it says what? 995, 995. Also, if you should click and drag here on this row, looking at your what? Sum is what? 995, 900 and what? 95. Now let's look at our average items sold. If you want to get your average items sold, we are going to do the same thing, but we are going to use our average instead of using our what? Our sum, which is equals to average. You can click or you can finish typing. So now you say that equals to average. The next thing you do is to come down here and select from what? From C4 to our what? C7. Then the next thing is to what? Use your enter button. So let's look at our minimum and maximum. So here is our maximum. All we have to do is to say is equals to max. Then we have to what? Select our what? First quarter from the C4 to what? C7. Enter key. Now you can see our maximum is what? 70. We are going to do the same for our what? Our minimum. It's equals to minimum. Then also select from what? C4 to what? C7. Press your enter. So our minimum here is 50 and our maximum is what? 70. So the same thing we have to do. So we have to click and drag autofill to get the remaining what? Values. Click and drag. All right. So as you can see, the minimum here is 30. This is 30, and the maximum is what? 80. The minimum here is 35, and the maximum is 70. So here maximum is 80, got it, and minimum is what? 60. So another good thing about Excel is that when you select more than one cell, like I'm selecting this one now, coming down here, it gives you what? The average of whatever you select, the count, and the sum. So the sum of this my select cells is what? 995. While the count is 4. Look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the average is what? 248.75. That's the average of these cells that I have selected. If I should also go ahead to select this, the total sales, let me select it. The count is also what? 4, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the sum total is what? $84,600. Then the average is what? $21,150. All right. So that's another good thing about Excel.